Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everyone to a new second secondary lesson for today for your book, The Traveler 3. And for today, we have some reading, vocabulary, and grammar. So as usual, what we learned today, we have three main objectives. Number one, read 2 advertisements about different environmental projects. Number 2, identify new words using in environment context. And number 3, learn how to refer to the future using appropriate tenses. So for number 1, as you can see, we're gonna see and read 2 advertisements about environment, and we'll talk about them. 2, we're going to have some new words, learn some new vocabulary. And number 3, we're going to have some grammar, and all the grammar is about the future tense. So we'll talk about 4 future tenses. We'll talk about will, going to, future perfect, and future perfect progressive. So if you take a look at this photo to the right, it's a boy, I think, and with a big plastic bag, he's trying to collect some dirty cans and bottles and papers and some other stuff. And this is what we call a volunteer's job, to clean the environment, because environment is like a treasure that goes from one generation to another. But the big question, if you take a look at this picture, is that do you think it is important to volunteer to help environment? Why and why not? Do you think it's important to go and work for free, okay, by your own will, to clean the environment? Some countries, they do this, so they take high school students and take them out into the open and ask them to clean the environment, go where people camp, go where people sit, go where people eat, and try to collect what they have left behind. Why? Because they want to clean the environment. Because if we keep on throwing trash wherever we go, this is going to cause too much pollution, and it's not going to be a nice look in the future. That's why and why not. So as I told you at the beginning, we're going to have the first advertisement here, which is advertisement A, and this is the photo that help you about drawing some kind of initial image about what we're going to talk about. So I ask you to follow me. I'm going to read for you. The world is experiencing a time of change. We are moving from a gray economy based on habits that are harmful to the environment to a green economy based on the understanding that we need to protect our environment. How will the future generations meet these challenges? Volunteers are needed for the Global Youth for Environmental Protection, shortened as GYEP agency. You will help to train young and interested high school students while they prepare themselves for the green jobs of the future. Join today and help shape the minds of tomorrow. So as you can see, we just read an advertisement that asks you to volunteer willingly to train some students to use some green projects about cleaning the environment. So you can train some very enthusiastic students who want to help make our environment clean, tidy, and look so good. So when we go and sit, we enjoy the view and we don't leave any kind of pollution behind. Once we spread this culture amongst us, and it is everyone's responsibility, it starts from recycling the trash can in your house, recycling your books, recycling inside your school, wherever you go. If we all start with ourselves and spread this kind of culture, we really guarantee a more cleaner environment that our sons and maybe grandsons will inherit, and also continue to preserve this environment and nature. So that was all about the first advertisement, which talks about you going to teach and train some high school students, maybe university students, and even middle school students, where they can receive some training to know how to volunteer and clean the environment. Now, as we move to the next advertisement, which is the second one, we'll call it advertisement B. Let's take a look at this beautiful river here with this beautiful trees and bushes around. This is really a very good view. If we keep on making this river dirty and throw stuff in it and maybe start some fire and leave some trash that can take years to dissolve in the soil, we're not going to enjoy this view anymore. So the second advertisement is also about environment. I'm going to read for you, okay, and you may follow me slowly. The Amazon basin covers about 7 million square kilometers and is home to more than 2.6 million species of animals. It is one of Earth's finest treasures. However, by 2020, logging will have reduced the size of rainforests by 60%. The National Science Foundation, shortened as NSF, is looking for volunteers to help put an end to this before it's too late. Volunteers will help scientists in their study of the destruction of the Amazon rainforest and its effect on the ecosystem. You will have the opportunity to travel with scientists through the jungle in an experience of a lifetime. Don't miss out. So it's just kind of invitation to worry about the Amazon River, that many people are cutting the trees around it. Cutting these trees, which is we call logging, is causing the rainforest to be reduced 60%. So in time, if we keep doing this, we're going to lose rainforest. We're going to help global warming. We're going to destroy water. We're causing too much pollution. We're killing the habitat of too many animals that live on trees or dwell on trees or eat on trees or live or make homes on trees or bushes or even underground. So this is the advertisement B. Now, if I ask you this question about the two advertisements, if you guess one, you will consequently know the other. So which advertisement talks about or mentions, one, an organization in which volunteers will help exploring the area they want to save, and they go with the scientists and they have a nice travel around the bushes. Do you remember which one? Was it A or B? And for the second one, it's also an organization that helps prepare young people for new careers. If we think for a minute, the first one for number one, it was A, and the number two, of course, it's A. For one is B, and for the second one is A. And here are the answers. You remember we talked in the second one, which we just finished, about going with the scientists, exploring the areas, and traveling along with the scientists, and you will have, a very unforgettable journey where you can see the bushes, the rivers, and you can camp. It's going to be more like an adventure, and also getting into the environment, business. And of course, number two, it was about you training volunteers in the first advertisement, which is A. Now for the second objective of what we learned today was about vocabulary. So let's match the words highlighted in the text with their meanings. So to the left, we have from 1 to 6, and to the right from A to F, and we need to match them according to their meanings. So in the text, you remember we had the word species. Species. Different kinds of animals or human beings, any creature, any living creature, they have species. Logging, which we talked about, when you cut trees and cause rainforest to be reduced 60%. And three, the ecosystem, which is a complete circle of system where we have a food chain and where animals depend on another, where you can have a perfect habitat for animals to live together. And four, image, photo, or picture. Five, flood, when there's heavy rain, and in the heavy rain, it causes small lakes, small rivers running out on the streets and blocking everyone. And you may have seen this 2-3 days ago when it rained a lot here. And finally, community is just like an example is school is a little community. People live together, work together in one place, and they interact in different ways. So if we start to match here, these are from 1 to 6. I'm going to read for you the answers, or from A to F. A, pictures. B, large amounts of water covering an area. C, a group of people living in an area. D, types of plants or animals. E, the action of cutting down trees. And finally F, oh, you didn't see this? The plants and animals in an area. So species is best, as you can see. Which one? Species. Types of, which is D, so 1 goes to D. 2, logging, which is the action of cutting tree, just go to E, so 2 to E. 1 to D. 3, ecosystem, which is the ecosystem, the plants and animals in an area. Images, pictures. Flood, a large amounts of water covering an area. And community is just a group of people. So 6 goes to C, a group of people living in an area. So let me display for you the answers. So species number 1 goes to D, 2, logging goes to E, and 3, ecosystem goes to F, and 4, images goes to A, pictures, and 5, flood to B, and finally community goes to C. Now, in the third and the final objective for today, we're going to talk about the future. We have 4 tenses of future. The most common or the most used ones are, as you can see here, will and going to. Will versus going to, and we both need them and use them in the future. So for will, when do we use will? We use will when we make quick decision or rapid decision, like, I'm thirsty, I think I will buy a drink. So you just made a decision. Because I'm thirsty, I will buy a drink. Or when you do make an offer, that looks heavy, I will help you with it. So you're trying to offer help. This looks heavy and you've seen someone is not carrying this very well, and you say, because this is heavy, I will offer you a help. And also when you promise, don't worry, I will not, or I won't tell anyone. And this is the short of will and not. Okay, it sounds like won't. So I won't tell anyone. It's a secret. It's a promise. Or when you threat someone, if you don't sleep, I will tell your mother. So this is a threat. Okay? And when you're trying to offer some kind of refusal, so like, she won't listen to anything I say. She refuses everything I say. She refuses to listen to anything I say, or she will not listen to anything I say. And as for going to, you need to have a plan. And you're almost, or 90%, have decided something. So you got previous plans or prior plans, and you have the decision. And a decision was made before the moment of speaking. For example, I'm going to the beach next weekend with my friends. When you say this, I'm going to the beach next weekend with my friends, it means there's a 95% that you're going. And you got your stuff ready, and everyone knows, and you set the date, and you set the time. But if you say, I will go to the beach next weekend, you're just either trying to have a decision or trying to do an offer or a threat or refusal or promise. But when you say I'm going, it's like, yes, it's almost a plan and you're going to do it. It's the same when you say, I am going to travel to Mecca next week. If you say, I'm going to travel to Mecca next week, it means you may have booked tickets. You may have booked for, maybe a hotel, and you're almost ready, and it's just a matter of time that you're going to go there. But if you say, I will go to Mecca next week, you're just trying to make an offer, maybe you're trying to suggest something, but you don't have a plan for this. So also we use going to when you have an evidence, when you have a sign. So you can say when there are signs that something is likely to happen. For example, my stomach hurts a lot and I think I am going to throw up. It means in a second you will throw up. The sign is that you have a stomach ache and you got some cold and you feel that there are fluids coming out of your esophagus and you're about to throw up. So this is a very clear sign that you're going to throw up. So we're going to use here, I'm going to. It's another example. It's 70-0 or 70-0. They're going to win. So there is maybe, there are still 5 minutes and this is a big match and the match is done 70-0. This is a great evidence. They are going to win. You can't say it's 70-0, they will win. It's too late. It's a big evidence that is 70-0. They are going to win. No doubt about this. Now let's just sum up everything about will and going to. It's all about your intentions, and nobody knows about your intention or your plans, if you have a plan or not. But if you read in a text when you have some adverbs, and of course, we're talking about the future, so we always have adverbs like next week, next month, in 2018, but we have some adverbs that tell you you don't have a plan, like maybe. You can't use going to when you have a maybe in a sentence. You will use will if you have probably. Most of the time, you can't use going to when you have probably. You have to say probably I will. Okay? Such things you need to pay attention for because they help you to decide, okay, I will say I'm going to play or I will play. All right? So sometimes you can use both will and going to for making predictions when you predict. For example, I think it will rain tomorrow, or you can say I think it's going to rain tomorrow. You don't know. Sometimes in a weathercast or in the news, they tell you about it's going to rain tomorrow, and it does not rain. This is only Allah knows about this sometimes. They're not always accurate. So you can use both. And also, when you say, are you busy this evening? Are you busy this evening? So you can answer in both ways. Yes, I'm going to the movies. So only going to is possible here because this is a prior plan. It means if you say, yes, I'm going, it means you bought the ticket and you're going. There's a prior plan. And here if you say, I haven't made any plans, I think I will probably watch TV. I am probably going to watch TV. You're not sure. You're trying to get into a plan or not. And also here, will and going to are both possible here. Why? We are predicting. We are seeing the future. We are trying to offer a vision about what's going to happen. So we're here predicting that will happen because nothing is planned. So you can use both. And as you may hear it on the streets, sometimes going to in spoken English is often pronounced as gonna. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna play, she's gonna swim, he's gonna read. And you may hear this, in movies, in songs, when people talk on the street, but it's not recommended to use the short of going to as gonna in a school, in speaking, and even in writing. So let's do an exercise. I'm going to read for you this exercise and you are going to use will or going to. Now who's going to decide this? The meaning, the intention. Is there a plan? Is there no plan? Are we here suggesting? Are we offering? Are we have some refusal? Are we trying to predict or not? We'll see. I will read for you this kind of dialogue. One, and it's a question. Be careful. You watch the game tonight? Of course. Do you think that All Stars, which is a name of maybe I think it's a football team, win? Also another question. No way. I think it be an exciting game though. Me too. Listen, Jack and I watched the game at this house. Do you want to come? Yeah, it sounds like fun. Okay, I call Jack now and tell him you are coming. So for the first one, and a sentence here is just not a sentence, it's just a question. And we are going to use the going to. So in a question we say, are you going to watch the game tonight? Are you going to watch the game tonight? And it seems like, of course. Okay? Of course. Do you think that all stars will win? We don't know who's going to win or not. No way. I think it will be an exciting game. Nobody knows if it's going to be. It seems like an equal game. So I think it is. I think it will be an exciting game though. Me too. Listen, Jack and I are going. They have a plan. They are going to watch the game at his house. They have a plan. Do you want to come? Yeah, it sounds like fun. Okay, I will call Jack now and tell him you are coming. And here are the answers. Okay, so the first one, are you going to watch? The second one, All Stars will win. I think it will be, are you going to watch? I will call Jack now and tell him you're coming. Now let's talk about the other two future tenses, which we don't use, very often like will and going to, but we also use them in certain conditions, like the future progressive. We use it to talk about actions that will be in progress at a specific time in the future. So if you tell me, what are you doing tomorrow at 9 o'clock or at 7 o'clock? And I say, tomorrow at 7 o'clock, you just travel to the future and imagine yourself tomorrow at 7 o'clock and you talk about it. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I will be watching a movie. Or I will be shopping. Or whatever you are going to be doing. So in a future progressive, we use will be always. I will be. And any verb with ing. I will be going. I'll be reading. She will be cleaning. They will be watching. It will be raining. And so on. Here are some examples for you. At 9 o'clock tomorrow, he will be flying to Egypt. So 9 o'clock. So his plane may takes off at 8. And 9, he's going to be in the air. So at 9 o'clock tomorrow, he'll be flying to Egypt. Or we use it to emphasize the duration of an action. We want to measure the time of the action. I will be reading magazines all day tomorrow. So from morning to evening, whatever or anytime you come, you will be finding me reading. Okay? And as for the future perfect, we use the future perfect to talk about actions that will be completed before a specific time or another action in the future. And the verb describing the second action is always in the present simple. Let's break this a little. Okay, he will have returned by the time you leave. So this is, here you can see two verbs. One in the simple present, you leave, you go, you come. And the second one is the future perfect. So one is happening before the other. For example, we use the future perfect when we use will and have always. Will and have always. and the past participle. He will have returned, I will have done, she will have written, they will have read, and so on. So we have two actions. One consequently happens before the other. So to talk about actions that will be completed before a specific time. So one verb will be completed in a certain time before another verb. So we have two verbs. One is completed before the other verb. One is simple present and the other one is future perfect. The future perfect is will and have always with the past participle. All right, let's see here if we can read the dialogues and circle the correct answer. So one possible correct answer: will our cousins be arriving or have arrived? So here you have present perfect, you have past perfect, maybe you have present continuous, you have all the tenses. So let's find out, will our cousins be arriving or have arrived by 7 o'clock? And this is a question. I don't think so. At 7 they will still be traveling or have traveled. I expect they will be at, or they will arrive at 8 o'clock, or I expect they are going to land at 8 o'clock and be here at around 9. Oh, let's hope we will prepare, or we will have prepared everything by that time. Don't worry, Maria will be here, or Maria is here any minute now to help. That is good. So now we just see too many different tenses. So for the first one, I think we say, will our cousins have arrived by 7 o'clock? Will they have arrived by 7 o'clock? I don't think so. At 7, they will still be traveling, so they will be in the air. They will still be traveling. I expect they will land at 8 o'clock. You expect, okay? You're not sure. They will land at 8 o'clock and be here at around 9. Oh, let's hope I will, or let's hope we will have prepared everything by that time. Don't worry, Maria will be here at any minute now to help. And here are the answers. We picked have arrived for the first one, be traveling for the second one, will land for the third, and for 4 have prepared, and for 5 will be here at any minute now to help. If we move on and talk quickly, we learned today how to draw. It was all grammar most of the time about the mostly grammar about the future progressive, about the future perfect, will versus going to, and also we learned a bunch of very good words like species, different kinds of animal, creatures or living things, logging, cutting trees down, ecosystem, a system of plants and other living things in one habitat, and images, pictures, or photos, flood, waters, run on the streets, and community, just like school, a place where people interact or work together in some kind of mechanism. That was all for today. These are the references and resources for you. And you can visit us on our website, follow us on Twitter, and call us for any help or any technical problems. Thank you all for watching this, and I hope you can join me for more lessons in the future. Until then, have a good day, and assalamu alaikum.